All right, hello everybody. We're back again for the other match in top four. I think that we are good to go. This is between Johnny and Andrew. Andrew is on Cindra, Johnny is on Valda. This should be a relatively quick game. Obviously, you know, when Cindra is involved, then that certainly makes things go a lot faster. Double checking the stream, make sure everything's going okay. This is top four. Johnny on Valda and Andrew on Cindra. We had a deck change actually in the middle of the transition between the pod stage and the top cut due to the ban list coming out right as top cut was about to start. So both these players playing different decks than what they played in the actual pod stage. Andrew was on Gravy and Johnny was on Lavaya. So this is turn 0. Still getting a bit of damage coming through here. We see a Blaze Headlong coming in. Here's a Throw Dagger. Just getting as much damage in as possible. One of the big things about the Guardian matchup with Cindra is that at a certain point in time, you kind of lose the opportunity to deal damage if the Guardian can start chaining Disruption in a row. So might as well get in while you can. 4 damage here on turn 0 is pretty good. Johnny running Civic Steps in this matchup. Not sure if he's on Quick Dodge or not. I think Quick Dodge obviously very good against Cindra, but Civic Steps also pretty good as well too. It doesn't cost you anything and still lets you block for a total of 3. So we saw a Throw Dagger to get another card. Didn't want an Arsenal Throw Dagger, and that goes into Arsenal. And so one thing to note about this matchup is that when you do draw from Mask, or when you do draw from an effect like Throw Dagger, you are giving Valda a Seismic Surge. So we are going to see a Spinal Crush come in here. And fortunately for Johnny, he's able to send the Spinal Crush in the first place because of that... because of the Seismic Surge. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to do it. So, Spinal Crush coming in for 9. Of course, the Crush effect happens if 4 more damage is dealt. Cindra kind of is bad at blocking this. The deck does run a lot of 3 blocks. A lot of the Draconic cards that don't naturally have Go Again are 3 blocks, but in this case, it looks like we do not have a 3 block. You have one out, which is the Dragon Scalar Flight Path, which lets you block for 1 once. So hopefully this turn is good enough. But it looks like the Crush effect is going to happen here. So only blocking 5, which means that we're only going to be sending 1 card on Andrew's side. And it looks like it's just going to be this Brand with Cinderclaw coming in from Arsenal. Don't know if there's any other potential way to give it Go Again here, but maybe we're going to see like some kind of pump come out. We have seen the Nip on the Heels being pitched for Andrew. This is a very interesting build that he's playing. I took a look at his deck list, and I think that he's playing kind of a more combo-focused build with Poison Blade and some other cards that are contingent on daggers hitting. So 2 coming in here. Johnny trying to figure out if he wants to block this or not. I mean, it isn't really that threatening. So we are going to see a flick come in. No counter. I imagine no counter going to be put onto the Blood Splatter Vest. And then probably just another pitch just to get the dagger back. Just get a little bit of damage in if you don't have Go Again. Pitching a Blaze Headlong. Oh, he did put a counter. Okay, so yeah, so it was literally just making the fealty and calling it quits after that. So here's a full 5-card hand for Valda. She can do some terrifying things, playing a Promising Terrain first. This doubles your Seismic Surge creation. And then he gets to send now a Crush the Weak coming in for 7. Another very annoying card for Cindra. This is going to require a 3 block here, yeah, okay. Plus the Dragon Scalar Flight Path. So his choice to opt to save it in a previous turn, pretty good. Does save him from getting crushed on this one and having to commit 2 cards to this. So still going to be sitting on 4 cards is Andrew going into this turn. And here's just Spreading Flames. Alright, this is a card that you want to see. Spreading Flames, of course, if you have a blue, this turns into a total of 3 plus 2 plus 2 if you want to swing both of your daggers here. The daggers are always going to get a benefit from Spreading Flames. We see a Sink Below coming out to cover the Spreading Flames. Now here come the daggers. Coming in for 2. Johnny's just going to go ahead and take the damage here. We'll see if a counter is going to be put on the vest. It looks like we're deciding that now. It looks like no. So 1 more resource available. Perfect for another dagger, or you can send a 1 cost go again. Looks like it will be the next dagger. Got to build up the chain links so that way you can successfully buff the rest of your attacks. Because remember that Spreading Flames, it does say that it's base power less than the number of Draconic chain links you control. So any of your 3s are going to require 4 chain link, or it to be the 4th or later chain link. And here's an Ignite coming now. So Ignite, block in for 4. With the Crash and Bash, we're going to reveal a card. We're revealing a Disable. So that'll create another Seismic Surge token, which will put Johnny at a total of 3. Actually, this is 4. Here comes the Flick Knives. Keep the chain open for the Mask of Momentum. I don't know if Andrew is on Pouncing Links in this list, but this is one of those matchups where you probably want to consider running it. A lot of decks can kind of just block Mask of Momentum very effectively, and even though this is a brand of Cindra Claw coming in for 4 here, it's not terribly difficult for Johnny to block it. And looks like he is not going to block, but instead he's going to go ahead and use D-React to go ahead and cover it up, and that'll prevent the mash trigger. That'll leave Andrew on no arsenal here. He will get 1 dagger back and have 1 remaining. This dagger is going to break when the chain link closes. Oh, but he's going to... Okay, no. It looked like he was trying to potentially use the dagger. Alright, so here we go. So Seismic Surges are going to pop here. Promising Terrain is going to go away, creating some more on the back. No, sorry, it doesn't... it draws him a card and gains him a life. That's what it does, sorry. So, 3 card hand now with 4 cost reduction available for Johnny. He's thinking about using the Tectonic Plate to set him up for next turn. Here comes an Imposing Visage. Looks like this is going to go ahead and get the ley line out on the board. So we're pitching a Disable to go ahead and get... There's the ley line. This card is amazing. This card is actually kind of insane. Oh, man. But that's a shame. Looks like he didn't have any have any cards in hand to really take advantage of the Seismic Surges that he had created on the previous turn. But he is going to go ahead and create another one off of the ley line. Hits for 4. Any Guardian attack there really would have been very nice, but unfortunately it looks like no dice there. So now he's swinging with the Kunai, coming in for 1, 2 resources floating. So here comes a display loyalty. Gonna make a second fealty. Now, if you're Johnny, you might want to consider blocking with this Balance of Justice relatively soon. It can be kind of easy for Cindra to play around. You can kind of control the amount of draws that you do per turn, but sometimes you really need to actually just hit your ancestral empowerments, and you need to hit your throw daggers or whatever, and you can't really avoid the situation. So here's a block on the Burning Blade Dance. Here's the ancestral empowerment, and here we go. Here's an opportunity for Balance of Justice to be used here. So second draw is happening. If you're Johnny, you might want to consider, just go ahead and blocking with the Balance of Justice on the next chain link here. There's 2 cards in hand for Andrew here. Adam asking in the chat, winner plays Tyler? Yes, the winner is going to be playing Tyler here. Tyler won the previous game. I will have that uploaded momentarily. If not, then you can just go back and watch the weirdly chopped up VOD of a game restart and then my stream having to restart, etc. Alright, Ancestral Empowerment. Alright, yeah, so there was a dagger thrown from the Burning Blade Dance, and a counter was added to the Blood Splatter Vest. So now here's a Devotion Never Dies. So this card reads, if a Draconic attack was the last attack this combat chain, then you go ahead and banish it, and if you do, then you can play it again. 2 resources available, so this is probably the appropriate opportunity to go ahead and cover this up. Just blocking with the Balance of Justice, not choosing to block it out, so we are going to see it get banished and then play it again. No fealty was used on it, so there's no bounce back a second time, but it is still 1 for 4 go again. Two resources floating. Balance of Justice has been blocked with now, so if Johnny wants to go ahead and draw a card, he can. Here's a fealty being popped. Let's see what this next card is. And we're going to respond. Just go ahead and alright, so playing a Devotion Never Dies as Draconic this time, which may suggest to me that the next card in the hand is going to be another Devotion Never Dies. And then we get a Civic Steps and a Promising Terrain going out to block this time. Curious about the use of the fealty here, because even if this is Devotion Never Dies, it's not like you're going to have the resources to get it back. So maybe that was a waste of a fealty, not entirely sure, but we see a recall on the kunai, and we're just going to go ahead and end the chain there. So yeah, so it looks like maybe it was unnecessary to go ahead and use the fealty there. We see a Tectonic Instability played. 4 Seismic Surges have popped this turn, so Valda's ability is online. And now here comes an Aftershock. So no Crush effect, so again, missing the Valda trigger. So instead, this is just going to be coming in for 8. No disruption here besides just the on hit for the ley line. If you're Tyler, you're probably pretty, or sorry, if you're Andrew, you're probably pretty happy with seeing this. I think you're totally okay to just go ahead and eat the 8 damage. Does give a 4th Seismic Surge to Valda. But here comes a Bramos Cinderclaw. Now, this is a 5-card hand because you did draw off of the Tectonic Instability. Playing an Ancestral Empowerment immediately, bringing it up to 4, drawing a card. 17 to 21 is the life total right now. Does put Valda at 5 Seismic Surges. If he gets to the 6th Seismic Surge, then this Testament of Valhalla is going to block for 5. So, with the brand new Cindra Claw opener, curious to see why he opted to go ahead and use the Ancestral Empowerment on that first attack. Pushing damage is fine, but you may want to save it for a better breakpoint. Okay, here's a Devotion Never Dies coming out now. Pitching a brand with Cindra Claw. This Devotion Never Dies is Draconic, so if it does hit, then you can chain it to itself, and then it'll bounce itself back again after that. So, decision time for Johnny as to whether or not he wants to block this out. It looks like he's going to block with a Testament. Maybe go ahead and block with the other Civic Steps. And yeah, so go ahead and block for 4 here. And so I think what this tells me is that maybe Andrew's hand was a little bit clunky. Maybe he didn't have this brand with Cindra Claw to pay for the resources to play this Devotion Never Dies. Might be a hand of all reds. And a pretty blue-heavy deck for Cindra. Flick Knives is going to come out here to preserve the chain. We're going to flick. We'll see if this is going to be the counter that we need. Okay, yeah, so no counter being added to the Bloodsplatter Vest. 1 damage this will get through, though. And now we're just going to attack for 1 with a Kunai. This won't trigger Mask. But it is very annoying to block. So he is going to attack for 1, and then here comes a Blood Runs Deep. So this is going to block attack for 2. It will preserve the Mass Chain again. So yeah, definitely kind of an awkward hand coming into this turn. We are going to see a block with the CNC. Here comes the Cindra ability. Get the daggers back. And let's see what this last card is. It's nothing. So even though the Mass Chain was preserved, it looks like there wasn't an attack available for Andrew to go ahead and continue the chain. So now 5 Seismic Surges coming up on Johnny's turn. I guess to this point he still has not been able to send an attack with Valda's ability. And so he's going to play a Promising Terrain here. Pitch to Tectonic Plating, and now finally he gets to send a Crush attack. Oop. Okay, so looks like he miscounted there. So I think we're trying to figure out what's supposed to be happening here. Alright, so put him in the place is going to be finally sent with Dominate. We're going to discard a hand of 4 cards, redraw. That will create 4 Seismic Surges on the back, and then also the on hit will create a Seismic Surge from the ley line. And then Seismic Eruption being played as an instant to make 8 Seismic Surges. This is so many Seismic Surges. But what it does do is it gives +4 to the shield, which will allow it to block for 2 here on this next chain link. So put him in place, definitely a very strong card in terms of setting up for the next turn. But one thing it doesn't really do is actually disrupt your opponent's hand. So maybe they have a good hand, and they discard it and they draw a poop one. But in a deck like Cindra, a lot of times the cards, your hands are so consistent from turn to turn that it shouldn't really make a big difference. So you still end up with a full 5-card hand here. And potentially this actually this may have drawn Andrew into a better hand. So starting off with the Spreading Flames here to start with. Tenacity's pitched. Coming in for 3. Next attack, probably going to be a dagger just to get the chain links going here. So dagger being sent. Most likely you're going to miss out on 1 damage on one of your next attacks. Most of the attacks, of course, in Cindra are 3s. So we are going to see a block on the kunai. This will interrupt the chain a little bit unless Andrew is willing to go ahead and flick this other dagger. Might want to consider doing it just so you can get the extra resource and keep the chain alive for whatever your next attack is. You're at the point in the game where you can kind of afford to go down on daggers and potentially sacrifice both your daggers if you can maintain the tempo. Your opponent is at such a life total to where you kind of have to block out. And I think that's what Andrew is considering right now. Don't forget 8 Seismic Surges still sitting over here for Valda. I don't know what attack is in this deck that cost 8 that's actually relevant in this matchup. Alright, here comes the Flick Knives. So 1 damage goes through. Let's see if the counter gets added. Is he running Pulverize? He is, but I don't think that you would run Pulverize in this matchup. Just because you never really get the chance to... it's relevant, I guess, because you swing 14, but... I guess the the counter is that you just never really survive to get 14. It does not activate Valda's ability also. Valda's ability has to apply to attack with Crush. Alright, so we are blocking 5 here. Here come the Seismic Surges. And the result is a Spinal Crush. Alright, so this is actually relevant. You're not utilizing all 8 of the Seismic Surges, but you actually can go ahead and block this out. You do have to give up Mask, and you do have to give up the Vest. But at this point in the game, again, Mask is not super relevant, I think, for this type of matchup where the opponent is able to block so often. So the hit does go through, a Seismic Surge is created, but still a 4-card hand available for Andrew. And so here we see the Poison Blade. So remember, whenever a dagger hits a hero of this combat chain, they lose 1 life. This is going to start demanding blocks. 3 coming in here. You don't have to worry about Mask anymore, so if you want to minimize the damage, you can just go ahead and block this, but got to be careful here. Dagger is worth 2 points. And the flick is going to be worth 2 points. Sending the dagger here. Still a block available on the tectonic plating, so I think that's what we're going to see block this dagger. No, he's blocking with a pummel instead. Okay. Here's a Rising Resentment coming in for 3, blocking with the Spinal Crush. Here's the Flick Knives to keep the chain alive, which doesn't really matter again, but you know, you got to do it now while you have the opportunity. Go ahead and recall the daggers with Cindra. And I think he is not going to full send here. Yeah, so there is still armor available to block these daggers, so there's no real point, I think, in attacking with these two. You would just lose your daggers, and then that could potentially be game losing. So most likely what we're going to see here is just an arsenal, or unless this is a chain ender like a lava burst or something like that, or another tenacity, then okay, it's a blood runs deep. That's huge. So these daggers are going to get thrown. We are going to go down to no daggers. Poison Blade is going to trigger on both of them. So 4 total damage, unblockable functionally coming in. And now 2 on the Blood Runs Deep is going to demand a block. Johnny does have the gauntlets available to go ahead and block here. I think it's probably the appropriate time to block with them. There we go. So blocking with the gauntlets. Down to 3 health for Johnny. Now here comes an Aftershock. Coming in for 8. No disruptive attack or effect on hit though, so if you're Andrew, I think you could just go ahead and block the 1 card here. Doesn't matter if it's a 2 block or a 3 block or whatever. You can just throw whatever your worst card is. Oh no, he's gonna go ahead and block with everything. So kind of a clunky hand for Andrew. It looks like he wasn't gonna be able to. I don't know what his last card is, but it looks like he wasn't gonna be able to get his daggers back on that turn. I feel like you could probably commit to it and just go for it, just to maintain tempo, but I don't know. You're kind of playing with fire here. I think blocking out is fine still, but all right, we're gonna see a seismic surge or seismic eruption happen now. 4 seismic surges, which means the Valda's online. Here comes the disable. Coming in for 7, dominate. Floating 2 resources. If that's a pummel, that's probably going to be the game. I guess you don't actually have to block with anything, but you are going to lose 1 card at least from your arsenal if you don't block. And so yeah, it looks like no blocks from Andrew. There's the pummel. Ooh. And that's it. Yeah, very risky. I think even if you block with for 3, it doesn't matter. I think you end up dying still, but yeah, so I think you have to kind of go back to that last turn where he decided to go ahead and block out that Aftershock. I wonder if that was maybe not the right call, but we see that it was a Wrath of Retribution that was the card in hand, so I guess technically what you can still do here, maybe you can just go ahead and pitch that Salt the Wound to play the Spreading Flames, call your daggers back, and then just, man, I guess the daggers aren't free though, so yeah, you're just kind of stuck with a bunk hand there, so definitely unfortunate that was the tempo loser, but that is kind of the risk that happens if you do play more of a I guess a deck with more combo pieces. Sometimes, one of the hallmarks of Cindra is that the deck is very consistent. Um, and I think to up the damage output, then you need to uh, add in some pieces that kind of mess with the consistency. Um, so definitely unfortunate turn there for Andrew, but good stuff from Johnny. And Valda will advance to the finals, and it's going to be Valda versus Verdance. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll get this VOD uploaded momentarily, and yeah, we'll have our finals. And I guess I don't think it's going to be happening today. I imagine it's probably going to be later this week. But yeah, that's it for me for tonight. I will catch you guys later in the week whenever we do our finals.